You are part of one of the world's greatest endeavors, the effort to stop infectious disease. Infectious disease disrupts normal body function like homeostasis. As far back as per 100 BCE, civilization in the different parts of the world tried to work out who became ill and why. Since then, we've come a long way in understanding what diseases are and how they spread. And that knowledge is vital to stopping them. Our body is a fortress, and face isn't just the one that depends us. Little things like skin, tear ducts, and even the hair in our nostrils are also depend us. From tiny things like pathogens. You might have heard of them in terms like germ, but the small word of pathogen is actually incredibly diverse. And in this video, we're going to get to know that word we live on, from the little creatures that live there to how our bodies protect us from the one that could make us sick. Hi, this is Black Blue Group, and this is our video presentation on how infectious diseases starts.
Pathogens are microscopic organisms that invades our body that cause disease. Examples: fungi, bacteria, virus, protozoan, parasite, and worms. There's a huge variety of pathogens out there. We need a whole other video to describe them all. But in general, they have a few key features that help biologists to tell them apart. Let's find out who's who. First up are fungi. Most fungi are harmless. Fungi release tiny cells that can reproduce on their own, called spores. Spores travel easily in the air. During an infection, fungal cells multiply. They attack most areas like skin, scalp, mouth, and throat. Fungi are the one that cause for certain skin diseases, such as a ringworm and athlete's foot.
Our next microbe, bacteria. It is a prokaryote cell. It has no nucleus, no membrane-bound organelles. Not all bacteria are bad. Most of the bacteria are helpful or harmless, like the ones in our stomach that helps us digest food, and the ones we use to create fermented foods like kimchi and yogurt. Few pathogens release toxins in our bodies, such as Streptococcus that causes strep throat and Staphylococcus that causes staph infection. Most bacterial pathogens are fought by the immune system or can be treated with antibiotics, but not all of them. Currently, many bacteria are becoming resistant to antibiotics because of being overprescribed. Overuse of antibiotics is creating stronger germs. That's why take antibiotics exactly and only as prescribed, or else it won't cure you.
The next microbes on our list are viruses, which is made up of fragments of genetic material a non-living protein called surrounding. It doesn't grow. It uses energy and responds to environment. However, viruses have some properties of living things. It can replicate, but only by using the host cell. They are injecting their own genetic materials into it and taking over the cell's function to multiply. If they attack enough cells, viruses disrupt the workings of our organs, causing us to get sick. Smallpox, SARS, flu, HPV, Ebola, and COVID-19 are all caused by viruses. Wow, that's a lot of diseases.
We have mentioned a lot of pathogens. It should give you an idea how they enter the body. So, how do they do it? On close inspection, the human body has a lot of holes, like your mouth and nostrils. Our skin is a great barrier from pathogens, but wounds can create holes too. All of those holes are the routes pathogens can take to get inside you. For examples, pathogens can be transmitted by having direct contact, indirect contact like coughing and sneezing, having contact with objects like sharing drinks, animal bites, and food poisoning.
But your body has a whole host of features to defend you from pathogens. Together, these features form the immune system. It all starts with physical barriers which prevent pathogens from entering. Skin physically stops pathogens from getting into our bodies. For example, our eyelashes and eyelids physically prevent airborne pathogens from reaching our eyes, while our tears contain antimicrobial compounds that kill anything our eyelashes miss. Amazing, right? Other potential entry holes into the body like our nostrils, lips, ears, genitals, and anus are lined with mucus. which physically traps pathogens, stopping them from getting any further into you. And though it might spread disease if we're already sick, coughing and sneezing can eject unwanted material from our airways that contain pathogens.
So finally, we can eject microbes out the other end. So every time we use bathroom, we're also flushing out lots of unwanted microbes from our system. These physical barriers are like the walls, turrets, and moats of fortress, so providing a first line of defense, but should any stubborn pathogens manage to break through, the second line of defense kicks in the innate immune system. This system has dedicated cells that attacks any trespasser, so we can call it a non-specific defense. Monocytes screws along your bloodstream, looking for anything suspicious, while macrophage and dendrite cells keep an eye on your tissue. And if they find something, they can digest the intruder, and macrophages will eat anything dangerous looking, even tattoo ink in your skin. When macrophages begin its fight, it calls for help by releasing protein called cytokinase as distress signal. At the point, other cells like neutrophils and natural killer cells, yes, that's their name, will swoop in and help destroy total streets.
So the cells of the innate immune system are like the guards of the fortress, well trained to neutralize most enemies that make it beyond the physical barriers of your body. But occasionally, the body needs a more specific approach in tackling a pathogen and calls for special forces. That's where the adaptive immune system or special defense comes in. Unlike the innate immune system, the adaptive immune system is highly specific. Its cells target distinct pathogens and continually will adapt to be stronger the next time. Two important members of this specialized team are the B cells and T cells. B cells are a type of white blood cells that creates antibodies, which are special, custom-made proteins designed to stick onto one specific pathogen. If an antibody binds the pathogen it's looking for, the body triggers an immediate immune response to rapidly destroy the threat. That can look like blocking pathogens from getting into our healthy cells or making pathogens clump together, stopping them from infecting more cells and making them easier for other immune cells to eat.
T cells also look for specific pathogens, but do it a little differently, while B cells and their antibodies seek out pathogens directly. T cells recognize our own infected cell. When they find one, they call in reinforcement, cytotoxic T cells and helper T cells. Cytotoxic T cells are in charge of destroying the infected cells, while helper T cells coordinate the rest of the response. They help B cells produce antibodies by nudging them into action or releasing cytokines, the protein distress the signals we talked about earlier.
Our adaptive immune system has secret weapons that gives us an advantage against repeated infections from the same pathogens. It remembers the pathogens it's seen before, so it can recognize them more quickly the next time. When T cells or B cells are exposed to phages of digested pathogens, they can specialize into memory cells. This process is called immunological memory. Memory T cells are like historians, documenting invaders' attack and storing the data in our body's long-term memory. Memory B cells, meanwhile, hang out in the body after the first immune response, ready to spot the pathogens and make antibodies quickly if it shows up again. The adaptive immune system is like an elite guard of soldier and military intelligence that strategizes to defeat the more serious threat to your body. And it's this system that we take advantage of when we make vaccines. They help our T or B cells recognize a particular pathogen and prep to defend our body against it without making us seriously sick.
Unfortunately, even with all of these remarkable layers of protection, sometimes things can still go wrong. Pathogens are often sneaky and have multiple ways of evading even our strongest defenses. Sometimes we do get sick, or even get sick multiple times from the same virus. Our immunity also varies from person to person. So what makes one person too sick to get out of bed might look like it doesn't affect the next person at all. Our immune system can even overreact to something that isn't actually a threat, like a particle of pollen. Well, in that case, the body will start up the immune response, releasing the same cytokine distress signals it normally would, which can cause inflammation and swelling. You might already know this process by another name. Allergies. In the case of hay fever, it may just be annoying, but a serious food allergy, for example, could cause anaphylaxis. It is when the throat swells up so much that you can suffocate. Similarly, an autoimmune disorder like multiple sclerosis is when the body is essentially allergic to itself and the immune system attacks our own healthy cells.
On the whole, though, the immune system does a remarkable job fending off the many kinds of pathogen it faces. Understanding these threats and supporting the immune system is a crucial part tackling diseases during an outbreak. COVID is still out there, follow safety protocols, wear your mask, and increase your cleanliness. We should protect each other and stay safe together. Again, this is Black Blue, and see you in our next video!